Welcome back to Dockhand's Big Adventure. It's Reese. Dockhand. In the car is Olivia, Madeline, and my wife Leah. And we are heading to Percy Quinn State Park. And as you can see, the boat is loaded down to the gills. We got the bikes, we got the stand-up paddle boards, and we've got some 1965 Mustang sheet metal. We got some quarter panels and a hood for our restoration build that we're doing. So we're here at National Parks Depot. Just happens to be on the way to Percy Quinn State Park, my family's annual outing where I actually learned how to water ski when my grandfather was around. So we got the tinny loaded up. We're gonna try to get my cousins up on a water ski for the first time ever, and we're gonna drop these parts off and visit the 1965 Mustang and see how she's doing. I hope you're ready for this crazy adventure. Let's go! All right, we just drove 10 hours. We got Kevin from RestoMod Classics, and the car is in pieces.
Sure.
So Kevin has been super busy. We just got the car here like literally 2 weeks ago, and it's already been handled pretty well. So I appreciate you, Kevin.
Well, we started with cutting out the cowl. At least that's where we were hoping to start. We cut out the cowl, put the new cowl in, got it shaped up, lined it up with the hood soon, and welded it all in. We were hoping to use the original fenders and the doors, but that didn't work out. So here we are with some aftermarket stuff that's overall lining up quite well, considering. And came to a standstill after cutting all of this cancer out. And we still got a little ways to go. And we're getting ready to try and address that and shape up the quarter panels and weld all those pieces in and hopefully start the body and paint process soon.
So tell me about yourself. Tell me about RestoMod Classics and your history with Mustangs.
Well, that started when I was 16. I bought my first Mustang. That was a big mistake. I think I'm at 280 Mustangs now. 50 years old, of course. And I just fell in love with them. I butchered a lot of them and learned a lot, and started my first shop when I was 21 and started building Mustangs ever since then. And all I do is 65, 66 Mustangs.
Where are you from, and was it like, were they around? Was it easy to find?
Started out in California, so rust wasn't as big of an issue back then, back in the late 80s, early 90s. And shortly after that, I moved to New Orleans, where I found my niche, which was rust repair. When I got there, everything was rusted. So for the first 10 years or so, all I did was body panels, and then I learned how to paint and take it to the next level. And shortly after that, it was just full blown. I was just restoring cars all day long.
Nice.
Somebody presses the reset button, it seems like, on me every day. It's like, start all over, next Mustang. And I do the same thing over and over.
So some unique challenges with the convertible. Anything that, I mean, obviously you talked about the body panels not really fitting up, so we're going all aftermarket. The cowl is obviously a little challenging with the lack of supports that a fastback or a coupe would have.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's not that big of a deal. A convertible, believe it or not, is a lot stronger than most of those lacking the roof. It just has so much more support structurally on the floor. So the twisting and whatnot is not really an issue, especially pertaining to stuff up there, because the firewall is still holding it all together. Same with the back. I mean, overall, it's holding its position. Most people talk about putting it on a jig. If you've done 1,000 of them, you just know your measurements and you know where they go. I'm not trying to act like I'm, you know, I know that, but I'm just saying, if you know your measurements and you know where things gotta be, you go with that. I don't think a single Mustang came off production line straight. That's my opinion. People will argue that, but if they know, they know. So you just try and get it to the point where it drives straight, of course, and it looks great. And those are your challenges. So everything else is a matter of fabrication, modification, and elbow grease to try and get it to look that way.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people that watch this video are going to ask about that car in the back and beautiful poppy red. What can you tell us about that car?
That car, well, I don't know if I want to say that because when I go to sell it, I might have to disclose it.
Oh, that's right.
No, I will. This car was crushed by a tree. So I got it all straightened back out and redid the roof, cut it all up and straightened it all out and welded it all back in. Everything else on it is original, crazy as that may be. All the doors, fenders, and all that. But other than that, it was a challenge. It was my biggest challenge, getting that roof straight and all the bottom lines and windows and glass and everything lines up. So it's just another car that I love to build and I'm building.
Well, I love the interior you got over here, and this is what we're kind of thinking for our build. I like the two-tone. I don't know if you can see in here that it starts as white, but it has the black top. I kind of like that, but maybe in red. This is a dash pad, which I didn't
Yeah,
even...
they make a red one. If you're going with white and red, I would probably go with a red dash pad. Kind of keep it a little bit less, what do you call it, busy.
Yeah.
So...
This is beautiful. I like this white. What color white?
That's Wimbledon white.
So Wimbledon white, and it matches the headboard.
Headliner. Yeah, which is more of a cream color, not a bright white.
Right. Which is what I'm kind of nervous about. Is like, okay, how many different reds will we have on this car, and how many different whites will we have on this car? So that's kind of like a little bit of my concern. Is
that is a challenge. But once we get to that point, I will guide you in the right direction as far as what we can get away with. And typically painting the white stripes is base coat clear, but you don't want to do a base coat clear on the interior because then it kind of takes away from the texture of the doors and all that. And
will ours have texture?
It'll
aftermarket,
have
yeah,
they have texture, and then you get a gloss, which I'm all for. I love a gloss dash pad or dash. But it's not so original, so we go with a satin type of thing, and I at that point, once we decide on a white color for the stripes, I'll have it mixed in a lacquer style to where we can just do a single coat and have it be UV protected and all that. So we got a little ways to think about that.
Right.
But I'm a big fan. I used to go with a bright white with all my Shelby colors, and then recently. I'm really digging the Wimbledon white. It's got a little cream in it, not as standout-ish.
Yeah.
It's in better with the color. So I would probably talk you into that, but we'll talk about it when the time comes.
We will. So now that you've got the parts from National Parts Depot, we got the quarters here, we got the hood there. It actually survived flopping in the wind. Not really flopping in the wind. I had it secured.
Yeah, no, everything looks good. Definitely better than what I get delivered here usually with a ding or two.
Good.
This is the hood scoop we finally got in.
Oh, right. The hood scoop is fiberglass.
So we'll be
Bolt-on.
shaping this. It's got a little bit of distortion to it, like all fiberglass, but we'll work on that. And we're gonna do some side scoops.
Side scoops. Yeah, I'm stoked on the side scoops. My dad, he mentioned it. He's like, I like those. And I was like, I kind of like those too. It's a little bit more showboaty.
Well, see, this is, if you're gonna do a Shelby, do a Shelby.
Okay.
Don't put the GT stuff on there. Don't put the GT tail lights on there. Don't put the emblems, all that. Do a Shelby, which is a stripe GT 350 on the side, nothing else, 289 up front. Unlike the original build that your dad was driving, where it still had the regular Mustang stuff, the horse and the 2+2, and then the Shelby stripe on the side. It's kind of mixing things to me. So if we're gonna do the Le Mans stripes, we're gonna do the GT 350 stripe, and do the side scoops and the hood scoop. Now the thing I don't like about doing a so-called fake hood scoop is it traps a lot of air on there. So It's a matter of whether do we do a cutout on the
I'm
hood.
down for the cutout. If
Okay.
it doesn't bend the hood, like
no, I mean
I'm down to do the
will-
cutout because you say like if it could push the hood, if you could push the
Yeah.
air into the hood, why
And that's
not?
the whole point of it.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna.
Advise
And
against.
normally I would also say do the brake scoops, which I always do, but I mean we're talking a whole nother level, and
Yeah.
it's not as necessary,
I don't think so.
especially if you're not racing.
Fair enough.
And from experience, none of the side scoops have ever flown off.
What's the next steps moving forward? We talked about you're gonna put the hood on, we're gonna line it up, we're gonna get the cowl painted, primed, welded.
Yeah, we're gonna do all the internals on the cowl, prime it and paint it, and once I get this, we also have some busted bolts over here, so I'm gonna weld some in there and get the hood hinges on. Once I get the
hood
hood
hinges.
we have hood hinges.
We do.
They look a little bent, but I won't know how they function until I put the hood on them. So we'll
That's
be
a
able
whole
to-
nother conversation. Everyone's like, "Oh, these are some great hood hinges. They're beautiful," but then they like don't hold the hood up.
Yeah, I mean those ones, those look stock.
Yeah.
So what
No.
we have there are good for a metal hood. That we
Okay,
have.
yeah.
So we're good there. But it looked like something happened with that one up there blowing out, so we'll weld something in there and I'll line it up. Once I get it lined up and get a nice line here, this will be welded. And then we're gonna move to the back where it's just a,
You've got some
it's a lot of rust treatment and cutting out things and prepping things and making sure that rust doesn't come back, which is the biggest challenge in this job or industry, you would say.
the Mustang, as they say.
Yeah, well, I mean, what are we going on? 65 years. So my thing is, everybody goes, well, when you build it, I want to make sure my car doesn't rust. Well, the car rusted once. It's gonna rust again. I can guarantee you that. How badly? That's up to you. You keep it in a garage, then probably not. You keep it outside in the rain.
Yeah.
So that part, you know, back when people bought these, they just drove them. They didn't think of all that. But we've got a good foundation. I mean, we're a good foundation. As in the car is pretty much all new as far as all the body panels go. So.
Well, I appreciate you taking the tender, loving care and your years of experience to take this to the next level. And I look forward to seeing more photos because, as you know, I'm in Florida. I can't really be here to film all this. I really want to. I'd rather stick a GoPro on this wall right here and just see a time lapse of little Kevin running around.
We could. Everything
you,
else
Kev.
is being replaced. So it's in good hands, man.
Appreciate it.